Craziest alien theories in Joe Rogan history. What the? I'm reading Tucker Carlson. What is Tucker Carlson going to say about aliens?
Aliens are among the widest discussed topics among humans and are occasionally the topic of discussion between Joe Rogan and his guests. Whether you believe in aliens or not, your view on aliens might change after hearing these theories. Like on the Joe Rogan Experience number 2138 featuring Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson begins this alien conversation with Rogan by saying that he thinks there are good and bad aliens, and if the US government knows that some of these aliens are bad, they are serving the bad force.
Okay, so if they're spiritual beings, which I believe they are, it's a binary. They're either, you're on team good or team bad. You can assign any name to it you want, but like, what are these things? Are they good?
Debatable. How would you say that they're good or bad? The idea of morality to an alien might not even make sense. Like, morality is innate to humans and humans alone. They might have an entirely different concept of what would be good and bad. Like, an alien that was born on another planet in another galaxy and is made up of different physiological, parts might not perceive killing somebody as bad. They might not even, or anything, like a gay marriage. They might not, if that's a topic of, something that some people might deem morally right or wrong, they might be like, what the fuck even is that?
And I think some of them are bad. And if the U.S. government knows that, or elements, the people within the U.S. government.
Do you guys think the U.S. government has interacted with aliens? Yes. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I watched the David Grush thing where he talked about aliens with the government, and he was like an intelligence officer for the military for fucking years, like high up. And he ended up being a whistleblower. He was only allowed to say certain things, but he basically said that the U.S. government has known about aliens and recovered alien aircraft and physical aliens, presumably dead, since 1940. As that was the earliest he was allowed to say. So like World War I, World War II. I think he actually said like 1920 something, which is insane to think. But I mean, I would say that the government, it makes sense that the government would not say anything about aliens, because they don't want to give anything else to other people, and it would really fuck with society if we knew for a fact that aliens existed, and that was like ingrained in everyday life. That would change society drastically, and it would disprove, I always say this, I know I repeat myself, it would disprove a lot of religions, which would really fuck up many people's faith-based beliefs and just the grounding of themselves in life. Right? If they were shown that other life forms that were more intelligent than us exist, and it's numerous, it removes a lot of people would go insane. Like you would think that it would be a big deal, but you would think that a lot of people would be able to handle it or want to know. Fuck no. Like there are so many people out of the 8 billion people in the world. Oh, fucking for sure, 2 billion would lose it. Little Joe Bart merch shout. As some of you may know, I already released more merch at JoeBartoloCstore.com. We have a lot of new things this time. New shirts, new hoodies, shorts this time. A different beanie design. We have rolling trays, tank tops, regular shirts as per you. Anyways, this is a more specific shout, kind of showing off the beanies that we have here. We have the, mushroom design, then we also have the all-seeing eye, and we have rolling trays. They're small, compact, you can fit them anywhere, they're hard, they're metal. They're not going to break. They're not going to be available much longer, so get it while you can. JoeBartoloCstore.com. Link in description in the comment section, or you could just search up the website, whatever the hell you want to do. Outside of that, thank you for tuning in for this little ad for the fucking Joe Bart merch. Let's get back into the video.
Carlson says that aliens are beyond nature as we understand it, meaning their physical nature goes outside of what we understand about physics.
No visible means of propulsion, coming at indescribable speed, hitting the ocean, continuing at speeds that are impossible undersea. If you have a craft, any object underwater that's traveling at 500 knots as measured by sonar, right there you're challenging our understanding of physics. Like, what is that? How can that be?
They've tracked that? They've tracked things going 500 knots under the sea?
Yeah, really. Yeah, much faster than any object can actually go undersea. Yo, for sure. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on underwater, and there's video of these things coming out of the sky into the water and also emerging from the water.
Right.
Well, There was a time where, it's UFOs, which aren't definitively determined as aliens, but it was like during COVID, like right when COVID hit, the U.S. government released videos of UFOs. Like, not necessarily aliens, right? But unidentified flying objects moving at speeds and maneuvering in ways that defy basically not physics, but all of our technological applications, right? Like what we're able to do. And they're just like, hey, we see these all the time. It doesn't make sense. Here it is. And they always do it whenever some other shit's happening. Like whenever there's a world conflict going on or a pandemic or anything, that's when the government's most likely to go, hey, by the way, aliens exist. Just slide that in there while you're thinking about other shit. Hey, wow, a lot of world conflicts going on right now. By the way, we've known about aliens since the 1920s, recovered their stuff, and have been lying to you guys the whole time. Sorry.
Tucker Carlson talks about how these UFOs can go in and out of water at extreme speeds. Now, there is a video from July 2019 where the USS Omaha filmed a UFO going into the water. Now, the video has reportedly been verified by the Pentagon and shows an object flying around the ship before dropping into the water and disappearing. Now, it's entirely possible that this object and others like it are simply advanced aircraft operated by the Chinese military or another hostile foreign government, but retired Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet believes the technology is too advanced to be human. Pilots, credible observers, and calibrated military instrumentation have recorded objects accelerating at rates and crossing the air-sea interface in ways not possible for anything made by humans.
But there's just a lot going on underwater, and it's measured. And so, whatever. I mean, these are all, again, this is like the most obvious observable level of it, but then you just ask yourself, like, what is this actually? So there are two possible explanations, obvious explanations. The first is the one you often hear, which is this is so heavy that if the public were to know about it, it would be just disruptive. It would be too scary. Like, you don't want to scare people for no good reason.
It would fuck up society. It would remove, we already walk on a thin line of ice of why we're here, right? And what our purpose is, right? And society molds, but it very loosely molds well. And if you throw in the fact that other hyper-intelligent creatures exist and they're more developed than our own and they have better technology than us that would change the way things work, people that work everyday jobs are going to no longer see a purpose in doing what they do, right? It would remove, like, if you're like a fucking Walmart employee and you cash people out at fucking checkout, or you help old people at fucking nursing homes, and then you come to see that aliens exist with like these hyper intelligent powers, and they know all way more than we do, fucking tens of thousands of years in the future comparable to us. You're gonna sit there and go, why the fuck am I doing what I'm doing?
And you also don't want to suggest that the U.S. military isn't capable of protecting the country, the homeland. And it does suggest that. If you can't control these objects in your airspace, and that's known, if they can't, that's known, okay? Then that suggests a limit to the power of the U.S. military, and you don't want to tell people that because then they won't believe that they're safe. I get it. But then there's a deeper level, which is like, okay, what's your relationship with these things? What is the U.S. government's relationship?
Well, and then I think you would also just have a massive distrust. It's like, the government's in one of those scenarios where if you withhold something for so long, it comes to the point where now if you tell them, they're gonna hate you, If the government comes out now and aliens exist and the aliens are like, yeah, we've been interacting with you guys for 100 years, people are gonna overthrow the fucking government. They're gonna be mad. Like, if they learned a year ago and they were like, we were waiting to tell you guys, we wanted to make sure it was safe, it's whatever. The public isn't gonna be mad. But if the government's like, we've known about this alien technology that would change life as we know it and aid people in so many ways, and we've been hiding it from you guys, sorry. People would start killing government officials.
And there's evidence that there is a relationship and that it's a long-standing. And that raises a lot of questions about intent. And so what is that? And people have been hurt by these things. That's a fact. It's a knowable fact. It's a provable fact.
Would you smoke a joint with an alien? Yeah. Unless they were slippery. If they were slimy, I wouldn't want to lip the same joint as them. They'd probably have some crazy shit though. They ain't even smoking weed. An alien version of drugs is probably oh my god, the best meth you've ever seen, right? An alien drug wouldn't even be weed. They would scoff at the idea of marijuana. They'd touch me and I just go, yeah, it'd be some crystal or some shit. He'd touch me with some weird atom and I'd just fucking go into this like weird state, into like a cocoon for like fucking 6 months and come out and be like, the fuck just happened? Oh, was that fun? I'd be like, what do you mean was that fun?
But people have been killed, and it's known because it's working its way through the courts out of the VA. So an object that is by definition supernatural, it's above the laws of nature as we understand them, and that has resulted in the deaths of people, but we don't spend enough time thinking about like what that adds up to. Like, not good. Actually, not good. It does raise a lot of questions about like what the hell, right? What the hell? American citizens have died and you're hiding it? Why are you hiding that? Why would you hide that?
Rogan suggests that the government may just not have answers for aliens because of how advanced they are. Rogan also questions if the US government actually has contact with aliens and can communicate with them. Now, Rogan tries to put himself in the shoes of an alien and says that if he was an interdimensional being, he wouldn't care about things like the United States president or government. He would look at humans as chaotic.
Well, it depends. Like that. Okay, so the template that you're using to understand this is like science fiction, right? These are an advanced.
Well, and why help us? Where it'd be the same thing as like humans looking at a world of just fucking T-Rexes. Like if we go down to them, we're gonna try and fucking tell them how shit works. We're gonna fucking make them more conscious and fucking aid. Why would they aid us? We don't know how they would think, right? Because we're so used to our own perceptions and everything that we've ever known. It just, we can't even fathom what it would be like to be an alien or how they think. But if we were hyper intelligent, say we were so advanced that we could fly around the galaxy and do whatever the fuck we wanted, we would go searching for other planets to see other life because it would be fun. And we have nothing else to do. Literally, like, yeah, you said like going to a zoo. It'd be like going to a zoo. They'd come look at us. It'd be like, oh, that's fascinating. Look how they're evolving, right? We didn't evolve like that. That's kind of weird. Oh, they have opposable thumbs. We didn't have that. We didn't have that on our world.
But the template that every other society before us has used is a spiritual one. Mm-hmm. There is a whole world that we can't see that acts on people, a supernatural world. It's acting on us all the time for good and bad. Every society has thought this before ours. In fact, every society in all recorded history has thought that until, I'll be specific, August 1945, when we dropped the atom bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And all of a sudden, the West is just officially secular. We're God. There is no God but us. And that's the world that we have grown up in. But that's an anomaly. Like, no one else has ever thought that.
And I think that's a passing point, maybe in aliens' eyes as well. Like, I don't know if they would have technology that would see that, but out of any thing that the human race has ever done to solidify themselves as something that is intelligent is split an atom, right? Us knowing about cars and figuring out how the wheel works is like, whatever.
Never been a society that thought that. Every other society has assumed, and they've had all kinds of different explanations, and the details differ, but the core idea does not differ, never has differed from caves until now, that we're being acted on by spiritual forces at all times. And so to someone born before or living before 1945, I think it would have been much more obvious that this is the thing that every society has written about. And in fact, that battle, that unseen battle around us, that spiritual battle, has like been the basis of every society, of every religion, not just Christianity. So like, it just, once you discard...
If the government confirmed aliens, there'd immediately be a new religion called alienism where people believe that aliens created Earth. Oh, 100%. There'd be people that would start worshiping aliens, and then conversely, all of the religions that would be disproved would scramble for means to loop that in. People, like, say aliens came down and we saw them, they were all over the news, and it was like, this is confirmed real, it's not a fucking conspiracy, blah, 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 aliens exist, and they're gonna start getting integrated in our society. Every religion would just start fucking... all the heads of organized religions would start scrounging to try and make this fit in so they don't lose people.
Next, on the Joe Rogan Experience number 1762, featuring Josh Zepps. Zepps is a broadcaster who hosts afternoon...
Yeah, he looked like a skinwalker, though, for real. Holy fuck.
With Josh Zepps on ABC Radio and hosts a podcast called Uncomfortable Conversations with Josh Zepps. Now, Joe Rogan starts this conversation by saying that UFOs didn't start appearing until after Fat Man and Little Boy were dropped on Japan. The first ever UFO sighting occurred on June 24th, 1947, when a private pilot named Kenneth Arnold claimed that he saw a string of 9 shiny UFOs flying past Mount Rainier at speeds that Arnold estimated at a minimum of 1,200 miles per hour.
I don't know if there was alien life, and if there is alien life out there that's aware of us. I don't know if they would intervene, because we don't really do much when we find chimps.
I just mean, like, when we train our telescopes on the sky, why isn't there any evidence of, like, little flickering radio waves coming from somewhere? But a possible explanation is the one that you say, which is we're looking for the wrong things. Like, we've only been emitting radio waves for a century, and we might be just about to end that and go into some virtual reality metaverse or something, and maybe we'll meet them all there. Maybe we'll unlock some door of the Zuckerberg multiverse and be like, oh, here are a whole bunch of pre-existing civilizations of aliens who already exist on this platform.
Rogan mentions that we know that most of the planets in our solar system can't support life. He references Mars as a planet that once had liquid water and an atmosphere. Now, it is claimed that around 3.4 billion years ago, an asteroid crashed into Mars and completely destroyed everything on it. Rogan also mentions Europa as a planet that has frozen water on the outside. It's also important to think that there are at least 50 billion planets in the Milky Way, and at least 500 million of them are in the habitable zone.
When you're talking about the scale of the universe, it's almost like talking about rolling the dice on the numbers of COVID in a population. Like, you don't need very high numbers before once you go to that.
Well, that's why, like, a lot of people, I don't think it's uncommon for people to believe in aliens. I think if you ask the average person, I would say the majority of people, mods, can we poll out on whether or not you believe in aliens? I think the average person might not believe that we have seen them, but I think it's just a statistical probability that they would exist. The odds of human life or life in general existing is so low, but almost nothing on the scale of infinity is still fairly possible, right? Say the odds of people existing on a given planet is 0.0000 for 100 zeros and 1%. That's a very low number, but that number multiplied by, trillions of fucking planets is so it's almost impossible that when you look up in the stars, you're seeing the universe, but you're seeing such a fractional point of the universe. And to say that we are the only things out of 13 billion years and that many planets, that many galaxies, that many stars, it's so, the odds that we live in a Goldilocks zone on a planet with sustainable life is fucking almost impossible. But it happened, right? And so I feel like that's just even more likely that, us just existing is just evidence that it's possible.
My point was, the solar system that we exist in is very unusual. And, we obviously have a planet that exists in this Goldilocks range, but we also have an extremely large...
I wonder how aliens look. I mean, dude, they might even have different sensory perceptions than ourselves. Like, that's what a lot of people don't... Like, whenever you see a picture of an alien, it's always fucking, like, some weird, big-ass fucking Megamind Roger from fucking American Dad looking motherfucker. Like, that's not... In all honesty, that's probably not how it would look. Like, it might not even have eyes. It might just have, like, sonar. Like, it might be blind and have some sort of, like, radio frequency that it pings like a fucking bat. Like, we don't know. It could be anything. We always just immediately assume it looks like us. Just weirder.
Rogan then discusses Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt and the reality of how those impressive structures were built. Now, we lost all of the records of how they built
I love looking at cave paintings. And if you go back, early cave paintings were always of animals and other things, right? Like trees or fucking cows or bison or whatever they were, trying to kill or what was in their environment. And then, like, as you flash forward, the newer the cave paintings, the more they made things of themselves. And it, like, showed that they developed consciousness. Because they went from painting things that they saw to trying to paint themselves. Like, they would, like, paint their hand and, like, spit shit on their hand so it would, like, outline their finger. Or, like, literally, like, family. Like, they would literally just... It was just like a fucking self-portrait. It was fucking weird, man.
The Library of Alexandria was burned. It is believed that the Library of Alexandria held over 500,000 documents from Assyria, Greece, Persia, Egypt, India, and many other nations. The Library of Alexandria was the ancient world's single greatest archive of knowledge, and we will never know what was documented in that library.
Yo, that, like, low-key pisses me off, though. Like, what do you think they had in there?
So let's imagine that there was some sort of a civilization 10,000 years ago, 20,000 years ago that was very advanced and was allowed to advance without any interruption, without nuclear war, without...
They should have made more copies. Oh, yeah. Why didn't they just break out the copy machine? They didn't have that. I will say, kind of dumb they put them all in the same place, eh? Kind of a little oopsie-whoopsie from the human race, you know? Oh, why don't we store all of our human knowledge in one building?
Hey,
Mr.
guys.
Hindsight over here. Yeah, they probably ain't run that again. Right when that happened, they probably said, yeah, why don't we separate this shit a little bit? Maybe have like 7 buildings.
They're 1,000,000 years more advanced than us. 1,000,000 years. Imagine what the fuck we're going to be in 1,000,000 years.
I mean, I can't even imagine.
I disagree that they were 1,000,000 years more advanced. I think humans back then might have had some sort of knowledge that has been lost. But the idea that they were 1,000,000 years more advanced, bitch, their library burnt down. We got shit like flash drives now, dog. I know, maybe they went a different route of intelligence. Like, that's a big thing, is like, it's hard to create new information because you're always clouded by previous things that exist. So, obviously, yeah, we like can develop more and more and more, but the things that we develop technologically are based off things that we already know. Right? So when you start from nothing, it's easier to go towards another path because you're not blocked by all this other previous knowledge. So yeah, they might have had some sort of advancement way different than ours. Like there's a lot of people that say they knew how to manipulate things with sound and they know how to move things with sound frequencies or shit like that. Yeah, fucking say maybe they knew how to do that. 1,000,000 years more advanced than us, you think they'd fucking figure out how to copy something or maybe write a fucking extra... Maybe spend the time to write out a fucking book again. Pay some guy fucking 20 schmeckles back in the Egyptian days or whenever the hell that shit was to go, okay, I'm gonna rewrite this and then fucking put it somewhere else just in case. You know, little fucking what if this burns down?
What we're going to be in 100 years.
So
and then
if
take
that's the
1,000
case-
years, 10,000, 100,000.
Yeah, if that's the case, like, if they were out there and they were watching us, they'd probably just make sure we don't blow ourselves up.
Yeah,
Like,
or
just-
not.
I think they would
You
probably
reckon they're
rather-
benevolent?
Well, if you got to think that, well, I don't know if it's benevolent or malevolent. Like if you think about what a scientist is, it's someone who wants to observe but sometimes protect. You know, like we protect endangered species. Activists get together and they say, hey, you know, there's only a few of these birds left. We
Yeah.
have to do whatever we can to preserve them. If they have that same mentality about the human race, I think they would have a pretty standoffish
Right.
attitude and
Yeah.
just sort of wait for us to figure it out.
And
especially if they look at the acceleration of our innovation
Yeah.
and this exponential acceleration of technology. And
I can't remember if it was like Michio Kaku or Neil deGrasse Tyson.
You think they'd make us pets? I don't know, man. Fuck. That'd be kind of crazy. You think they'd make us pets? Probably not. Probably not. We'd be too much to take care of. It'd be way harder to take care of us than like a dog. Because they'd have to teach us, right? Like a dog, you teach like sit, stay, come, right? And like base shit. They would have to teach us like language and like we would have to learn and shit. It'd just be way too much. Like it doesn't make sense. The more intelligent an animal it is, the harder it is to take care of.
Next, on the Joe Rogan Experience number 1976, featuring James Fox, Rogan and Fox discuss Brazil's Roswell. James Fox is a UFO investigator and documentary filmmaker. In 1996, NORAD contacted Brazilian Air Defense to report an object
And NORAD's the company that tracks Santa Claus. They're a very I know that. I know NORAD Santa Tracker.
entering the Earth's atmosphere near Brazil. This object was marked as unidentified. A few minutes later, the unidentified object crashed outside the Brazilian town of Varginha. The Brazilian Army and Air Force rushed to the town to get to the crash site before any civilians did, but they were too late. The craft was seen and the beings driving the craft were gone. A few days later, 3 women reported to authorities authorities that they saw a mysterious creature. The women described the creature as a large-headed biped with spots like veins on the skin, bumps on its head, and eyes that looked like two red balls. Now, Brazilian authorities shut down the town of Varginha with barricades and said that there was a deformed man running around. But why would they shut down the town for a deformed man?
You know, I mean, these girls came within 8 to 10 feet. Three women. Katya, two sisters, Liliani and Valkyria, 14, 16, and 21. They got within 8 to 10 feet in broad daylight of this creature. And one of the things that doesn't come across in the film, when they saw this thing, they're looking like, what are we looking at here? They're walking through this field and it's up against a cinder block wall. And one of them was looking at it, what is that? And it was crouched by the wall. It was weak and feeble. And one of them kind of like screeched, like, what is that? And it turned and it looked right at the girls, locked eyes on them. Liliana grabs her younger sister, who's 14, Valkyria, and hightails it out of there. Katya.
Yo, I wish I would see some shit like that. I wish an alien would crash in my fucking city, bitch. I wish that motherfucker. Like, why? Yo, every time it's like I'm hearing these stories about other fucking people, I'm like, damn, bro. Like, yeah, that would kind of suck being somebody that has to explain that aliens exist and nobody believes you, but at least I would know. You know, at least I would know myself.
She's frozen in her tracks, locked eyes with this creature, and it's
Who's gonna believe you, though? No one. That's the problem.
Communicating with her. Please help me. It wants help. It's weak and it's feeble and it's scared and it's crouched down. Liliani realizes that Katya is back there. She gets, 100 feet down the path. She leaves her sister, stay here, I'm going back to get Katya. She runs back. And I asked Katya and I asked all the girls.
Dude, but they could give you like some crazy fucking diseases. Just how, like, when people from, like, Europe went over to the Americas and kind of spread diseases that were just, like, not really known of. Like, aliens could have something that would just fuck us up. Like, just just an even worse bubonic plague. They just have something on their skin or whatever they would call their outer portion of their body that would just latch onto us and kill us in a day. The first people that would interact with them would have to wear hazmat suits.
That moment of contact, when you lock eyes, I know it's only a brief second, but during that moment of contact, what did you feel? Like, put me there. That's where the title comes from, Moment of Contact, because that was when they locked eyes on this creature. And that's when Katya said, help me, I'm scared. And it was feeble and suffering. And it's a very powerful moment.
James Fox claims that the mother of the three women who saw the creature said that a man in a suit showed up at their door with a briefcase full of cash and offered it to the girls if they came out and said what they saw was all fake. Fox also talks about the smell near the crash site.
The smell, that stench, and the footprint on the ground. I mean, everybody talks about that stench, that it was so... They said, if you ever take like a skunk, multiply that by like 100,000, that would give you some indication of the level of like how putrid and nasty. It was paralyzing. And it stayed in the areas, like at the hospitals when they did the x-rays, and everybody talks about it.
Imagine you kill that bitch, though. You see that thing in a corner, just... I go live on Facebook on my phone with a fucking hammer from Home Depot. Just mallet its fucking skull in. How mad the government would be. Oh my god. They'd probably kill you. Dude, I mean, they'd probably kill your ass anyway. Because you saw it and they wouldn't want you to know. But like, you know how mad, dude, the fucking government shows up and they're like, dude, you just fucking crushed its skull in. Imagine they were like, we actually haven't seen aliens yet. You just fucking killed it. But now we can't even fucking study it. Its fight's mush. Imagine your friend goes live on Facebook, right? Facebook Live. Not even like IG Live or TikTok or Twitch. Your friend goes live on Facebook and you tune in and it's just like 2 a.m. and it's like really dark and he has like a phone flashlight on and he's like, look at this fucker. And he's just malleting its fucking skull and like just like blue mush is coming out and he's like, what is this fucking thing? What is this fucking thing? Get rid of it.
And even the mother said when she went to where the creature was, she said that the stench even there after the creature was gone got in her nasal.
God, the worst place for an alien to crash would be like fucking Louisiana or like Alabama. Oh, they'd fucking shoot that thing. It wouldn't even be. They would definitely kill it. I wouldn't kill it. I would want to see, like, I would risk it killing me just to know what the fuck it was. Oh my god. That thing crashes in Alabama's, like, some guy's backyard. He's just going, ksh, ksh, Doom, 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 like fucking 50 into its chest.
Cavities, and she tried to flush it out with water and saline or whatever, and she just couldn't get it out of her nasal cavities. Really crazy. But they all did. I mean, everybody talked about that stench.
Fox talks about the driver who drove around the body of this creature and how the driver basically said that no amount of money will ever get him to talk about what he saw because of the risks involved. The man who drove around the body of this creature's life was ruined because the military was constantly checking up on him and making sure he didn't open his mouth.
If you saw aliens in your backyard and you reported it, I think it would go to the police and then it would keep going higher up and higher up. You would get interviewed by somebody, like some suited man, and he would tell you, you know, if you tell anybody about this, we're gonna fucking ruin your life. Like, we're gonna fucking, we're gonna make everybody think you're crazy. We're gonna commit you of some crime you didn't do. Like, they would oh my God, they would ruin your life.
There are witnesses who claim that it was an extraterrestrial being, and then you have the military saying that it was just a deformed man. The military also at one point said that the alleged alien seen in a hospital was just a couple who had dwarfism. There's also many who believe that Brazil's Roswell was just a case where—
I don't think they would take it to a hospital. They wouldn't even know what to do. It would have entirely different organs. Like, if it was injured, you wouldn't know how to fucking help it. Like, say an alien was like literally like fucking crashed into Earth and was a borderline about to die. You're not going to be able to perform surgery. It'd be like telling like a fucking horse doctor to perform a fucking appendectomy on a human.
Literally nothing at all happened that was unusual, but it was magnified into a case considered proof of alien visitation. So what do you think? I'd still
try. Yeah, what do you do? Start cutting that bitch open? You start seeing like, imagine you like cut an alien open. What are you going to see on the inside? Suck fucking blue goo. You start just throwing these weird things out of their body and you're like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Stuffing it back in. Or you cut it open and it's just like solid. There's nothing. It's just like a blob. That would freak me the fuck out. Now, it would have organs. Hold up, I gotta go piss real quick, then we're gonna watch the last video. Count me down!